Oh. Mate, I thought you'd never get here. Mate.
For what do I owe the...
What do you owe this pleasure?
This pleasure, yeah.
Well, I figured we were doing a more sophisticated whiskey this week.
Of course. So
I thought I'd make a bit of an effort. 3-piece suit.
Nice.
Yeah?
Well, you certainly have done.
Well, you know, check it out. I've got the roaring fire behind me. Yeah.
I mean, I put a hat on this week.
It's a nice hat too.
Thanks.
Is that a new
it's
hat?
A trucker hat.
Trucker hat.
Height of sophistication right there.
This week on the Whisky and Things Podcast, we talk to American singer-songwriter Jess Meuse.
And Nick's put on a suit because we're going to try this very sophisticated Lagavulin 16-year-old. Plus, we'll hear an expert review from the Whisky God.
And as always, you can keep up to date on all our social media platforms. Whisky and Things Podcast on Instagram and Whisky and Things on Facebook and Twitter. Remember, no E or jacket required.
And when you finish listening, don't forget to give us a little review or a 5-star rating, whatever is available on your favourite podcast provider. Also, might as well press subscribe while you're there.
Because you're kind.
You're listening to the Whisky and Things Podcast with Dave Giles and Nick Kent.
Hello and welcome to Whisky and Things, the podcast. I am Dave Giles.
And I am masquerading as Nick Kent. Welcome to episode 8.
It is a beautiful mask.
Isn't it?
Yeah, you've done a very good job there.
I wear it well.
So thanks for tuning in once again, or maybe for the first time. Last week's show, we had Charlotte Campbell,
Wonderful guest.
Singer-songwriter.
Wonderful guest.
Yeah, and we've had a few comments about that interview. Lauren Heyman, who's a Patreon of ours and regular listener.
Hello.
She said she loved the interview, and she also loves the fact that she found Charlotte in Edinburgh and not in London. And Lauren is from Indiana in the US.
Oh, wow.
So it's crazy that she found Charlotte, who we were saying is the Queen of the South Bank, in Edinburgh. It's just one of those wonderful things.
Yeah. She gets about.
And then we've also heard from another one of our Patreons who we've not heard from yet, Brian Peacock.
Good name.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy. And he said he was sitting next to Charlotte at my Green Note gig. He's talking to about my gig that I did at the Green Note in Camden.
Okay.
And at the end, he thought, I think that's her. So he spoke to her. And he said, she's a really down-to-earth person. He had bought her albums years ago after seeing her at Waterloo Station. And seeing her at the gig was a pleasant surprise. And he signed up to her Patreon as well. He said he's liking the show. He wonders whether there'll be an episode where I don't break into a giggle fit. And...
Not if I've got anything to do with it. Go.
and this has been brought up a few times on social media. But Brian is leading the charge here.
Right.
He's hoping that Marty McFly has been brought a collar and a lead, as all pets should be. And he hopes that Nick is using his daily exercise to take him out for a walk.
I would if I could catch him. I'm not going to lie. This guy is like Neo from The Matrix.
Is he still around?
He's there's been consistently 2 flies for the past 10 days, and he's definitely around, and I cannot catch.
He's brought a mate along.
It's the one who doesn't react to the cursor. That's how I can tell them apart.
What's his name?
He doesn't deserve a name. He hasn't introduced me. I'm not going to be that awkward guy who then goes up to the other ones like, I'm sorry, Marty's being a bit rude. He hasn't actually introduced us. I'm Nick. I'm your landlord. You know, so I don't know yet. Until Marty introduces me, I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to be that guy, Dave.
Fair enough. Well, thanks, Brian, for getting in contact, and thank you for being a Patreon. Anyone can become a patron. Go over and patreon.com/Whisky and Things. Whiskey with no E. And we're going to be doing some pretty special things for Patrons pretty soon. So it's a good chance to go and get involved now.
Get in early.
Before all the fun starts.
Because this isn't. No, it is. It's fantastic. Thank you for tuning in. Cool.
Anyway, should we crack on with this week's whiskey?
Yes, let's do it.
Whiskey butts, roll out.
This week's whiskey.
So for the listeners' benefit, I am wearing a 3-piece suit this week. I felt like I'd get dressed up.
He has gone all out.
I've got a pocket square. I've got a proper dress shirt, cufflinks, dress collar. Don't worry about it. Because we are tasting this week one of our favourites, definitely one of my favourites, The Lagavulin 16 year.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It's a single malt Scotch whiskey, 43%.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one of the little Drinks by the Drams bottles, which was in the Regions of Scotland tasting set from Master of Malt.
Correct. Drinks by the Dram. And this is from Islay, famous for its peaty whiskey. And this is one of those famous peaty whiskies.
As soon as you open it up, that smell hits you.
Oh.
That's a great... Nick's got a proper bottle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's wonderful.
It's a great smell, isn't it?
Yeah. Tell you what, we've got to go to this distillery because there's 3 amazing distilleries within 2 miles of each other.
Yeah, what are the other 2?
You've got your other famous peaty whiskies. You've got 0.8 of a mile up the road, you got Ardbeg.
Yeah.
And then 1.2 miles the other way, you got Lafroig.
Wow, the three amigos.
The 3 amigos. In fact, Lafroig and Lagavulin had a bit of a water war. About, 100 years ago or something like that.
A water war.
Yeah, because Lagavulin kind of screwed them over. They copied all their stills and everything. And they also, because where Lafroig would get their water from, this lake, it was kind of infused with peat. And they wanted it. So the guys at Lagavulin redirected their water supply to their distillery. Big battle or whatever. Water wars.
Water wars. When was this? Was this recently?
No, it's 100 years ago, maybe.
Oh, right.
More than
That's
that.
amazing, though.
Back in the day.
Old school.
And Lafroig had to buy the entire plot of land to stop them from doing it again. I thought that's quite interesting.
No, that is really funny. I like that. I can't believe that. Water wars.
Water wars. But yeah, it's wonderful. I'm going to pour myself in. I'm going to pour myself. I'm feeling so cheeky. Pour myself into my Glencairn here.
So I want to throw back to episode 1, Nick.
Oh.
Where you spoke about this whiskey in an interview with Sam Pope and Luke Friend.
Yes, we did. Briefly.
And there was a conversation about how it's pronounced.
Yeah, different people pronounce it in different ways. Luke Friend, for example, ordered it in Edinburgh, Lagavulin, quite easily.
And they knew what he meant.
Yeah. It might be a regional thing.
I'd never heard it called that before you told me that.
No. And there is one other one which I've forgotten how to pronounce because I've just always used one of those two.
I've always called it Lagavulin.
Yeah.
I was introduced to Lagavulin from our friend Matthias Harris.
Matthias Harris. Best handshake in the business.
Best handshake in the world, I'm going to go as far as saying. My favourite handshake.
Oh, dear.
All-round lovely guy. And he bought me a bottle to say thanks for taking him on tour back in 2014. And he's a real sophisticated gentleman. So it's the kind of whiskey you would expect him to enjoy. And I know it's one of his favourites, and it became one of mine. It's such a great whiskey. Now, if Charlotte was listening, Charlotte Campbell from last week, she'd say it smells like death.
Oh, yeah, this is
one of those. This is one of those very peaty, but also very smoky smelling whiskies.
It's very complex.
It's got such a strong aroma.
There's a lot going on. I can't pick much out. The weird one I could pick out, I was watching a lot of videos trying to take other people's tasting notes just to give me a bit of a guide to see if I could pick stuff out. And I could get a bit of mint right at the end of the finish, right at the kind of top of the...
Do you know what? Now you said that, yes, I could. There's definitely a bit of plant in there. It reminds me of the smell of stinging, dock leaves. When you've got stung by stinging nettles and you have to grind the dock leaves up and rub them on. It's that smell right at the end. You're right.
You have to grind them up. I just rub them on.
You kind of, but the rubbing just wears them down and then he releases a smell.
Is that another Carol Giles tip?
It may well be. But she was born a city girl, so I have no idea how that would be the case. But
no. Yeah, this is it's beautiful. Now, every week, we ask you guys to maybe send in your tasting notes to us.
Oh, yes, very
good. So we can read them out. And this week, we've actually had one.
We have a winner. We have Week 8.
Hot dog, we have a wiener. Pete Jeffrey has got in touch on Facebook. Thank you for getting in touch. He's given us his tasting notes. You ready for these, Dave?
I am.
I'll do it in a smooth voice. First time opening a bottle was the strong smell of briny sea air, followed by the smoke. Was like grilling a fish during a storm in a harbour, but somehow it was a nice smell, crying laugh emoji face. I'm interested in what fish.
I mean, I don't
That would
like
make a big
fish,
difference.
But that's such a great description, isn't it?
It is
So vivid. So thanks, Pete, for sending that in.
Yeah.
Anyone else? When we discuss next week's whiskey, please do send in some tasty notes if you have them.
Yeah, please. Have you been checking out? I went down a bit of a rabbit hole because I sent you a link earlier for a Nick Offerman video.
You did. It really made me laugh.
He's he's famous for loving Lagavulin. Kind of down to his character Ron Swanson from Parks and Recreation. So I've been watching all those recently.
So I've never seen it.
Back. But these videos are classic, right? There's a video of him sitting down in front of an open fire for 45 minutes, drinking one glass of Lagavulin. That's it. Just him sitting, looking at the camera, drinking a thing, right?
Drinking it.
Yeah, drinking it. There's another one where it's the countdown to New Year, where he's sitting in front of the Lagavulin distillery, where there's a party going on behind him. There's 1 hour countdown to New Year, and he's like just sipping it. Gets to New Year, finishes the glass, walks off. That is his New Year. A whole hour of it. It's absolutely fantastic. He actually has his own signature Lagavulin, an 11-year, the Offerman edition.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, the Offerman edition.
Okay,
which
well,
I
we
want
need to try that later on. Yeah. The video you sent me was very good. It was all about the smell and how he's trying to get. He loves Lagavulin so much. He's trying to get different products made with the scent of Lagavulin.
It's fantastic.
Shampoo and air fresheners.
Yeah, air freshener for his dog Whiskey.
That really made me laugh.
But
anyway, I this is such a great whiskey. In terms of the peaty whiskies, as you said, the holy trilogy, the three amigos of Ardbeg, Laphroaig, and Lagavulin. This is my favourite.
Ardbeg, Dave. I'll just correct
Ardbeg. Well, you know me. I'm never going to pronounce anything right.
It's all good. I didn't want to get letters.
Or Lagavulin. The Laggy's definitely my favourite.
Yes, me too. Me too.
Just get the things over with.
So, it's time for the things. Everyone's favourite part of the show.
Oh, everyone's favourite.
Most people are here for the things.
Tune in for the things. That's what they say. That's the
Especially
thing.
the Whisky God.
So, Dave, you got any juicy things for us this week?
I did a live stream this week.
I watched
Isolate Live.
Yeah, it's good, man. You brought out some classics.
I did. I went old school. I was going to do half like Marmite, but I bottled it.
Oh.
Maybe I'll do that next time. But Isolate Live is set up by a guy called Tim from a band called Morning Crush. And he just, at the start of the isolation, wanted to create a hub where musicians could perform and people would just go every night knowing there'd be some type of live stream going on, like some kind of gig.
It's every night?
It's every night there's something going on.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And it's all different artists, and he puts together the lineups. He doesn't take any of the money himself. There's you can tip the artist or donate to charity depending on what the artist asks for. And it's definitely worth to go and check out on Facebook. So just go over there, Isolate Live. I've done it twice. We've had Danny Gruff's done it. Charlotte Campbell's done it. So a few of our guests have been on there now.
It's a place to be.
And it's definitely worth. If you're bored on an evening and you don't know what to do with yourself, just go and see if there's any live music going on.
Yeah,
why not?
It's
Isolate
nice.
Live. I'll leave a little link in the doobity doos. But anyway, Nick, what have you been up to?
Doobity doos. What have I been doing?
Yeah.
Nothing things worthy. I think we should crack on with this week's interview.
Fine. Let's do that. This
we
is
had
a good
three-way,
interview.
didn't we?
We did have a freeway. Our first international freeway, and our first freeway with a woman.
Let's keep it clean.
I am keep.
I know.
It's an interview.
I let you off last week with the three-way. With the three-way with Liza. I let you off last week. I kept that in. I don't know. It's borderline.
Oh my God. Talk about an interview.
I know.
Outrageous. I can't believe you. I can't believe you're suggesting there's anything else on my mind.
It's been a long lockdown, Dave. But
Fair enough. Anyway.
Who have we been talking to, Dave?
We have got...
Go for it.
Jess Meuse.
Jessica Meuse.
Jessica Meuse, or Jess Meuse as she likes to be called. Jess is what she prefers.
Yeah.
And she's an American singer-songwriter from Alabama. And we had a good old chat with her. So let's roll tape. Roll tape. Welcome.
Welcome.
Is it Jess or Jessica? What do you prefer being called?
Well, everyone calls me Jess. Jessica is literally only because of the iTunes store, and I like Jess more because there's always like 8,000 Jessicas all over the place.
Welcome, Jess.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So, obviously, we met through our mutual friend, Dean, who we'll talk more about later. But for now, what we'd like you to do is tell us a bit about yourself.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I am a singer-songwriter from, it's pretty much BFE. It's a town called Slapout in Alabama. There's like 5 people here. It's like my family and 1 friend. And I've just been playing music all my life. I was always the little artsy-fartsy kid, moved around a lot, and it kind of prepared me for the lifestyle of a musician. So I love being on the road. I love traveling. So this whole coronavirus thing really sucks ass for me. But yeah, I've just been doing music, and I like to draw. I like to write. I like to play games. I like to use cheat codes. I like to do all that crap.
I want to go back to your origin story.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're a superhero, because to me you are. And some people might know that you made a name for yourself on American Idol season 13. But from what you've just said, you started way before that. Was American Idol just a springboard for a career, or?
Oh yeah.
Or were you well on your way well before that?
It took a lot of work just to get on the show because I got a special phone call to be on the show, to do the audition. Somebody found me because I was a full-time college student, and I was going my first semester of college. I took 18 hours, and I was very busy, and somehow I managed to still play shows and I was pretty much playing every single night because there were open mics and stuff up in Birmingham. And then when I would play the big shows that would give you like $100 to play for 4 stupid hours, then those were the ones that oftentimes got to be out of state. So I would end up driving out, and then I would drive back, and then I'd wake up and like 3 hours later, and then I'd go back to class. And I ended up kind of running myself down. But because I worked so hard and I was getting out there and people were learning my name, somebody found me and said, "Hey, do you want to audition? I'm scouting for the show." They set it up because I had actually initially auditioned for Idol when I was 16. And they told me I wasn't good. Yeah, I was with my mom because I was a minor. And they were like, some people have star quality and some people don't. And you don't. And I remember I cried. And I was like, I hate this show. It sucks. And then I kept watching the funny auditions. But anyway.
Did that give you more of a drive to get on it later?
Yeah. I mean, it really did, because I have always been the determined type. Like, if you tell me I can't do something, I'll be like, hold my beer.
When you were on the show, was it a challenge to keep being yourself? Because you were the first person to do an original song in a final, is that correct?
During the live rounds, yeah. And honestly, I did that by accident. I had no clue that was going to happen. And I only found it out when I discovered I had a Wikipedia page. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I was like, does this mean I'm famous? Am I have a Wikipedia page? I kind of geeked out a little bit.
Does that mean that my research methods have just been rumbled?
Debunked, yeah.
But there's an error on my wiki page. It says I taught myself violin, and that's the one that I didn't teach myself. I taught myself piano. That's wrong.
In the UK, we obviously have a couple of our own TV talent shows, and there's a bit of a stigma that is attached to some of the artists that go on those shows. Does that stigma exist in the US, and has it been easy or hard to shake it off as you develop your own career after the show? When
you do a show like American Idol, it does jump you forward, and it has a lot of pros with it, and you learn a lot really fast. And I always tell people it probably gave me about a 5-year head start in what I was doing with my career just because of the platform alone. Like, I still have a lot of organic fans from that, and I've gotten all these wonderful influencer opportunities, branding, marketing, all that stuff, and that's been amazing. But sometimes I've gone to try to get gigs, like especially in Nashville, I've experienced this, and people will just flat out either ignore me and never get back to me, and I'll never get a gig there. Or they'll be like, oh, we're passing on Idol people right now. And it's like, why is that a bad thing? Because I did have to work my ass off on that show. It doesn't make me any different. I just got, kind of a lucky break in a way. Yeah. But it definitely exists.
You still had to have the talent to get to the final.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you've got to have something to get on those shows. Yeah.
Exactly, especially in the US where the talent pool is so much bigger than it is over here, for example.
Oh yeah, you take one step into Nashville or Los Angeles, especially LA, it's so diverse because you've got actors too everywhere. And a lot of them do both. A lot of them do all of it. You've got people who act, sing, write, produce, screenwrite, do all of it, and you're like, oh, I better learn something.
Have you ever done any acting?
I try. I try to act sometimes. No, I'm working on it. It's tough to find opportunities, and especially right now because of this whole pandemic. But yeah, I do like acting. I'm more of I like funny stuff. And then I laugh all the time, and I can't keep a straight face. That's the hardest part. But anyway, yeah.
Okay, so moving on to more recent times, you released is it your debut album? Is Half-Hearted your debut album?
It's my debut good album.
Right, good.
The other one I did when I was like 16, and that thing is crap.
Fair enough. Yeah, I've got plenty of them.
I think it sucks.
That was What's So Hard About Being a Man? Is that?
Oh no! Why do you know that? You guys talked to Dean.
No,
you guys are talking to Dean, and he told you everything.
Was I not meant to find that?
I didn't find that. Well done.
It's very hard to find. Anyway, obviously, let's move on from that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your first good album, Half-Hearted.
Yeah. It's an absolute banger of an album.
Thank you.
It's great, yeah.
What I like about it is how varied it is. Obviously, it's very country rock in at its core, but then you've got like the spoken word, almost rappy bit in one song, and then
oh yeah, that's the title track.
And then the track 2 completely caught me off guard when I first heard it, because you got the first song is this big, like, amazing pop country rock song, and then the second one is this jazz piano, like, instrumental. And
no. So get this, Spotify screwed it up. That's not the song. I have been trying to get them to fix that for months, so I'm really glad you said that. It's still not fixed, because I'm going to come after Spotify so bad.
So that's not your song?
No.
Well, I was like, what? Right, well, that makes a lot more sense.
They screwed it up, and they linked it wrong, and I'm back to managing myself, so I don't have any of the, I'm still trying to get all my login credentials and stuff, because I had bad management who, withheld all this information from me, so I'm trying to get back so I can fix all that stuff.
Right, that makes sense. Oh, because you were talking about being self-taught piano earlier, and I was like, "Wow, maybe
I'm not that good."
I was gonna say, because it's just
no.
I'm
talking I can play Mad World. I can do Where Is My Mind, just the basic part. So the actual song that's supposed to be is called High, and it should be on the main artist page for Jessica Meuse on Spotify, and I think it was released as a single prior to the album coming out, so it should be on there too.
We spoke about this earlier, Nick, and you agreed with me. So I'm a bit confused. What's going on?
Wow, she's so diverse. Listen to that.
Yeah, have you seen that piano jazz track? What the hell?
Well, I was a bit puzzled, to be honest, because I've listened to that song about 3 times today.
I have to make a note
I was just letting you go with it, mate.
Contact Spotify. Oh my God, I can't believe it's still screwed up.
But the rest of the album I really have enjoyed. So that's all good. I'm assuming you're coming to the end of the promo cycle for that. Has it been fun being out touring that album and getting it out there?
Well, like I said, I am now back to managing myself. I was working with somebody who, and I am a hard worker. I run myself ragged, but I had another person running me ragged. I'm also a university student working on my undergrad, and I just completed the NASM personal trainer certification. So I'm a multitasker all the way.
Nice
and
one.
I was being run so ragged. I would have a week of radio tour and have, 3 to 5 stops a day. And in between, it could be anything from an hour to 8 hours apart, or even more sometimes, with a little dingy hotel overnight. And then I would go straight to, there was one time where I did all this radio promo, and then I would go to a rehearsal immediately for 3 to 4 hours, and then I would go straight to a 90-minute set at a festival in the sun in the middle of summer. So I was being totally run down, and my passion for music was just being depleted and sucked out of me. And so it was just not a healthy relationship at that point. So the promo actually stopped last year when that relationship ended, and I was very happy that it stopped. I met a lot of people in radio that I love, and I have personally stayed connected with them. So I take that as kind of like the silver lining from going through all of that. And just like, there was one time I got food poisoning and he was trying to make me play a show while I was like vomiting in my weave. Like, what? I was like, I can't. I like physically can't. So I'm happy that's over, but I'm ready to make another album. I've been talking to Dean about it. I know we're going to be doing a single later this year. I'm working with a nonprofit and I wrote a song for them. It's like a little feels. It's all about feels and love. Nice. And blah, but new stuff will be coming and I'm going to promote that the way that's supposed to be promoted without killing myself.
Whiskey! So that was the first part of our interview with Jess Meuse. Part 2 is coming up later. Nick, I apologise. Not my best there.
Well,
not my best.
It's not your fault. Spotify need to sort their stuff out. But to be honest, mate, it's not me you need to worry about. No? No. The Whisky God's actually a huge Jess Meuse fan. Like,
I didn't know that.
Like, massive fan, right? Like,
well, you know him better than I do.
Yeah, well, we've been emailing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
He's such a massive fan. He's actually written his own series of Jess Meuse fan fiction, right? It's called Thank Whisky God, It Did Work. Brackets, flawlessly. A little play on words there. I'm not sure he's going to be that pleased. Whoa!
David, you're embarrassing yourself. You've got one of my favorite singers on, and you screwed up the Spotify. You didn't even research the right song.
I'm sorry, God. I'm sorry.
Mate, I told you.
But I tried.
Dave, listen.
How's it go then, God?
You light me up like the sun in the sky, like a reborn phoenix learning how to fly. Yes, David. You screwed up. Do your job.
I told you he was a fan.
Wow. I never thought we'd hear him sing, but...
Good God.
Well, sorry, God. I really apologise. I do apologise. But while you're here, can we have your notes on the Lagavulin 16-year-old? Don't get mad at me for that either.
Don't get mad at it. Oh, God. Don't push him.
Lagavulin 16 year. On the eyes, a medium amber that tells a story, which may not be as benign on the palate as it is to gaze at. On the nose, this is one of the smokiest and pungent offerings from the Isla region. Expect overbaked apples in a slightly overdone cobbler crust. Okay, be careful. Nose this too much, and you'll start smelling a sack of embers. Sack.
Ha! The tables have turned.
Yeah, who's been the child this week, pal?
On the palate, what will start as something astringent around a recently extinguished campfire will very quickly become a thick and rich mouthfeel of Madeira and malted sweet fruitiness. Believe it or not, after the expected and very welcome Isla-style smokiness, you will encounter heavy, wet oak, finished by a wide and wonderful sweetness, which leads us to, of course, one final note on the palate. Peaty. On the finish, spicy, dates, peat smoke, and just enough vanilla to end in a long, creamy finish. Overall, as far as Isla malts go, this one belongs in the smoky elite. For some of you, you'd be convinced that you've just been served formaldehyde. For the rest of you, you've just discovered one of the most powerful Isla offerings. Enjoy. Ta-ta. 'Cause you only love me when I'm leaving. But you're gonna miss me when I'm gone.
He really is a big Jess fan.
I'm gone, boys.
Oh, wow.
He loves her. See, it's another one of her hits.
He loves Jess.
He does. Great notes, though.
He knows them all.
He does. He knows the whole back catalogue.
Great notes on, by many standards. It was great notes.
He's even got a first album.
Do you know what? I think if any of our patrons are listening, if you have any requests for the Whisky God, I think he's showed himself up there. You know, he's being a high class singer. We will happily get him to sing any of your favourite songs, and we'll put them in the Patreon. So
yes.
Inspired by Charlotte doing a one song a week on Patreon, we will give you Request a Song from God.
Who else is doing that? Who else is doing that?
Exactly. If you want to hear a song sung like a cross between Thor and Boris Johnson, now is your chance.
There's a bit of Harold Bishop in there, I think, as well.
Harold Bishop.
Yeah.
Nice.
Madge.
The whiskey. I hate it when he calls me David. Don't know.
I love it.
He always does that. You know who else calls me David?
Carol Giles.
My mum. No. Well, yeah, she does actually, but that's not what I was thinking of.
Right.
Dean DiCioso.
Ah, yes.
Who produced my last album after you introduced me to him, because
he produced Soho Lights by Tat, a band I was in years ago.
Oh, we're doing full plugs. My last album was Tennessee in 48 by Dave Giles. And he also introduced us to Jess, this week's guest. So he gets brought up a lot within this next part of the interview. So if you're listening, Dean, this note's for you.
Things.
He's like one of the nicest people ever. I think he's helped me so much just because he wanted to.
He goes the extra mile for sure.
Yeah, and he offers to go the extra mile. You don't even have to ask him. He's like, no, let me get on FaceTime with you. Let me help you set up your entire streaming thing.
Yeah.
Like he
Let me
helped
take
set
over
up
your computer
everything.
and show you what to do.
Yes, he did. He did TeamView.
Yeah.
He's done that to all of us at some point.
So you've been working with Dean recently on a track for The Witcher. Is that right? Can we talk about that?
I told Dean, because I have a problem. I love The Witcher. I'm reading the books. I play the shit out of the video game, and I love Henry Cavill. I think he's beautiful.
You love Henry Cavill?
He's so beautiful. Do you know him? Do you have his phone number? No. I'm just kidding.
Funny you should ask. We all know each other over here.
Yeah, it's only a small country.
I'm totally joking. But not really.
Is it the British accent that does it?
I think it's just the whole package. Like, if you just Google him, you might turn gay with him. I don't know. Because he's a beautiful, beautiful specimen.
He is a beautiful man.
Superman.
Yes, he is. He's like one of the best Supermans. He's right up there with Christopher Reeve.
He's been wasted in the last few Superman movies, in my opinion.
I haven't seen a lot of the recent ones. I saw the first one. But.
Yeah, that was a good one. I enjoyed that one. So that track, I'm guessing it's a bit more of an atmospheric. I think I've heard a bit when you're recording it.
It's so cool.
That's a bit different from what you usually do.
You guys haven't heard it? He hasn't shown you like a little sneaky peek?
I've heard it.
It's sick. Like,
it's
I
incredible.
think it's better than the original from the series. It's better than any cover you have heard on YouTube. And I'm not just saying that because I sang on it. I'm saying that because Dean made it sound so freaking good. And he manipulated all the strings, and it sounds like he hired the Boston Pops to do it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Was it a challenge to sing on such a cinematic track? Because it's very different. No,
because Dean made it easy. I went over there and he set up the microphone in like the extra bedroom, and he was in there working in the other one, and he had all his little tools and everything ready. And, you know, obviously he's at home, so it's all where it needs to be. And I closed the door and I just started singing it, and I did like 3 passes, and I was like, I think we're done. It was good. It was just fun.
It sounds like you've always sung in that genre. It
was so fun. Like, I would love to do a whole album of like weird medieval Witcher music for real.
So The Witcher's had a few, so you said you're into the games. So you're a big gamer, aren't you?
I love gaming. It's actually a passion I had when I was a lot younger, and I kind of lost my way for a while and got caught up in everything in school, and I was the full-time student and everything. Then I did all the TV shows and stuff. And then in the last 2 years or so, I actually reached out to Dean, and I was like, you know, I really want to get into streaming because games make me so happy, and I'm such a fantasy thinking person. I love just make believe is so much fun for me. So Dean helped me set it up, and I've been streaming and gaming, and it's been so much fun. And the whole gaming community, that demographic is amazing. They're like the nicest people in the world.
Yeah, Dean sent me a link, and we kind of.
Oh yeah, you hopped in a chat one night.
Yeah. I didn't quite know what to say.
Didn't Dave? Dave did too.
Yeah,
you both have been there.
On Mixer. Is this Mixer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're noobs, aren't we, Nick? We have no idea.
We are noobs.
Is there much crossover in your audience on Mixer or your gaming streaming and your music stuff? Is there a crossover there, or is it completely different entities?
There's a little bit of a crossover. Like it's hard to make people move from one platform to another because they just don't want to. And a lot of times, one thing I've learned as far as marketing myself is that all the different platforms have totally different demographics. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes on Facebook, they're cool if you post once a day, but if you post once a day on your Instagram, people unfollow you. And that's a lot of the younger people who want to play on TikTok, and they kind of have that in Instagram. And they don't really have Facebook, so you have to have all of them. But you have to be careful how much you post over here. But then on Mixer, a lot of them are new fans that just kind of found me through Dean, and they followed to support, and they just found me in the Mixer feed. But I have had some people come over from Facebook when I promote like a virtual concert. They'll make an account and I'm like, hey, please follow me. I need follows.
So obviously this show is called Whisky and Things.
Yes.
So are you a whiskey drinker?
Okay. So I do like whiskey, and Dean is hilarious because he actually showed me some good whiskeys, and I don't remember which one he and I drank at his house, but that one was pretty good, and it was a pricier one, and then I put Coke in it, and he was like, oh. It was so funny. But I like it. Like, I like to have it with either just a little splash of ginger ale to kind of get the burn down a little, but I do like the way whiskey tastes, especially if I'm not feeling that great. It helps my throat a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely good to have that on the rider if you're feeling a bit delicate before a gig.
I don't like Jack Daniels though. Me and him do not get along.
Yes.
Really?
I hate it. I hate it so much. I just think it's crappy, and I have bad memories with Jack. He's just not a nice guy.
No,
we all have those memories. You just gotta forget them every now and again. Yeah, Jack doesn't like me, but I like Jack.
Oh, Jesus. You know, one that I do like, I had this actually when I lived in Houston by myself, Woodford Reserve. I think it's great. It's a bourbon though, right?
Yeah.
That's a bourbon,
that one's good.
I was thinking, as a southern gal, you'd be into your bourbons. That'd be, especially kind of being kind of near Kentucky.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Kentucky's just up the road. I've driven up that way. I'm a road warrior, so that's nothing to me.
I want to know what a Piggly Wiggly is.
Oh, Jesus. You don't know what a Piggly Wiggly is?
I've not come across a Piggly Wiggly before.
Is it not a grocery store?
I think it's just a southern thing, but it's a grocery store.
Yes, thought so.
I've never seen a Piggly Wiggly in all my time.
Yeah, there's like 18-wheelers that have Piggly Wiggly trailers on them, and they're like, follow me to the pig.
I remember the first time I saw one of them, I absolutely pissed myself laughing, thinking that's the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's great because it looks
like Porky Pig on the side of it. It's like, come follow me. Go to the Piggly Wiggly. Like, I want to know who named it, though.
Well, it's worked.
Mr. Wiggly.
Mr. Wiggly.
It's a long-lost cousin from Mr. Wrigley.
I was going to say, maybe he was one of the Wiggles on Disney or something.
Oh.
The Lost Wiggle.
When are you and I going to start writing songs together?
Well, we can write technically whenever, because we got the little phones and stuff. So let me know, man. I took all my exams. I'm off for the summer, so I'm not in school right now. So we can definitely write.
Let's do that.
Dean was saying you might need a rhythm guitarist at some point too. So I play rhythm. I play a mean acoustic.
I mean that's news to me, but yeah, that's great. I mean,
I don't know. Dean might have just been saying stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping one day I will tour America and I'll need a band. And if you're willing to be
that would be so fun.
That would be my honor to have you on the road with me. That would be amazing.
That would be sick. I think that'd be really fun.
You're listening to the Whisky and Things Podcast.
That was a lot of fun. It was great to have that.
It was a lot of fun.
Chat with Jess.
Yeah.
get to know her a bit better. I really hope that me and her do end up writing together and performing together because she's wonderful. You can find out more about Jess on Facebook. Her page is /idol Jessica Meuse, and her surname is spelled Meuse. Meuse. So it's Idol, as in American Idol, Jessica Meuse on Facebook. And she's also on Instagram at Jess Meuse.
And Twitter, you can find her at Jess Meuse. Simple.
Yep, so the same. There we go.
Yeah.
So that was great. And obviously the full interview will be up on our Patreon page, as we talked about earlier. So I'm sure we'll hear from Jess again in the future. Maybe we'll get her on with Dean some point. That would be...
that would be great. A 4-way.
That would be a lot of fun. A 4-way. Imagine that.
What a show, Dave. Lucky number 8. Great whiskey. Great guest.
And singing Whisky God.
Singing. It's all happened. It has all happened this week.
Hey, Nick, I forgot to tell you. I've got a story for you.
Okay.
Have we got time for a story? Let's have a story. Right.
Mate,
this is fun, right? So I was cleaning, doing some washing up, and I was putting things away, and I got one of my sharp knives out my drying tray.
Yeah.
And I was about to put it away, but it slipped out my hand.
Oh,
I was like, ah! And it landed blade point on my foot.
Were you were wearing shoes, I hope?
No.
Classic Dave. Classic
Directly
Dave
onto
Giles.
my foot. Now you would think, oh God, that's going to cause a mess. I'm going to have hurt myself. But no, the blade, and I'm talking, this is a big old thick Sheffield
steel
blade, broke clean in two. Hit my foot and broke clean in two.
Was this a steak knife?
No, it was like this knife. It was the.
Dave is holding up a sharp knife. It's a very I see what you mean. It's just,
you can see it's a sturdy looking. You would think that wasn't.
Yeah.
Right,
that broke in half.
Hit my foot clean in two. So I posted the photo on Twitter and I tagged Marvel.
Okay.
And said, clearly, I need an origin story. I am a superhero.
You're the Thing.
Feel free to get in contact. And
the Fantastic Four.
And I'll happily be in any of your films. And Tara, who's a regular listener and commenter on the show, has started doing the comic. I'm going to have my own comic, Nick.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
Have you got a name?
Talk about origin stories in the interviews, and I don't know, I'll get back to you that next week.
I've got to admit, you in your kitchen dropping a knife in your foot isn't the most exciting origin story I've ever heard in my life.
But clearly I've got a superpower.
Clearly.
Like, I've got an invincible foot.
Okay.
That's what I'm taking out of this.
Just the one. Is the other one like...
Just the one. I don't want to test the other one.
You don't want to test the other one.
Just in case. Anyway,
wow.
So I'll let you know how that goes next week.
Thanks, buddy. I look forward to reading that comic. Wow. Tune in for lovely.
Tune in. We've had a few more comments come in. First of all, there was a lot of love for the idea of us doing more about whiskey cocktails.
Great. Okay.
So this is going to be something which we will do once the lockdown isolation thing is ended and we can actually get out and about.
Yeah.
Because I think it'll be more fun to have a guest in person sitting here making us cocktails and us talking through them, or us making them.
Someone who knows what they're talking about.
Someone who knows what they're talking about. And do you know, I've got the perfect person. Her name's Hannah Beasley. We mentioned her last week.
You have, yeah.
And she actually got in contact to say that she's got herself a bottle of Woodford Reserve.
Oh.
And she's making us our own Whisky and Things cocktail.
No.
Yep, we're going to have a cocktail named after us. And she's going to show us how to make it. And hopefully we'll like it.
Ooh, yeah, me
but
too.
I'm sure she's going to try a few things and let us choose which one we want.
It had better have a cherry on top. That's all I'm saying.
She will also talk us through a few other cocktails, whiskey-based cocktails. So at some point in the future, we will have a whole show dedicated to whiskey cocktails. Not have a whiskey of the week. We'll just do a whiskey cocktail show. But we'll have to wait until we can get Hannah around and the three of us be in the room together, because I think that would just be so much fun.
That would be great. Yeah.
So that's going to happen. Also, I got a little throwback to do to episode 6 because I missed this one last week. I forgot. And this is from Amar, who messaged me on the Patreon and said that he really enjoyed how interesting and enlightening the interview with Anna was.
Okay.
And I'm going to quote him because I'm just going to read it as if I'm him now, because I feel this is important. Amar is originally from Malaysia. I think, based on what I'm reading here, I will ask him to clarify that if I've got that wrong. But he says this, talking about the MH370 story did bring back weird memories of that time because I remember comparing the news and reaction here to how it was back home. Like a weird feeling of those back in Malaysia not appreciating how badly this reflected on the country, especially, and a place that got into worldwide news for the wrong reasons. And that's something you don't really think about. But it's crazy how that interview with Anna got him thinking about something he hadn't thought about for a while.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed that interview with Anna was really interesting. And if you haven't listened to it yet, that was on episode 6. Anna is a radio journalist. So it had a lot of really interesting things to say. If you haven't listened to it, go and check that out.
It's very informative. Very.
Amar also has said that he does enjoy watching the full interviews on Patreon because he gets to unintentionally see more and more of my phone as I forget that I haven't got it on Do Not Disturb when I'm recording the screen and messages come in from people and the full interview's going on. Is
this why you never tell me when you're doing your interviews? Because I can text you. Get a nice little message at the top.
If I put it on Do Not Disturb, then it doesn't come up. But I always forget. So inherently, it always seems to happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, if anyone else has any feedback on the show, please do get in contact. There's so many ways. You can leave a review or a question on iTunes. You can get us in contact on Facebook or Twitter. We announced all the things at the start. So on Instagram. So please, we love hearing from you. We love sharing what you think of the whiskies or what you think of the episodes. And if you have any comments, we just like hearing from you.
We're on our own.
We both live on our own, so we just crave any contact.
We're lonely. I've got 2 flies for company.
I'm impressed they're still alive. That's all I'm going to say.
Anyway, I want to finish the show.
What we got next week?
Yes, next week. I interview someone next week on my Todd. I interview American music photographer Jared Scott. Jared is an old friend of mine.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. I met him back in 2008 when I was touring America with Tat, playing bass. He came on tour with us when we were touring the Lagavulin and MXPX, taking some photos of them. So
I've not heard of either of them. But anyway.
Great bands,
That's a different world.
Yeah. But we share some stories and get to know some bits and pieces about being a rock photographer. Look forward to that.
Excellent.
And whiskey-wise, next week, we will be sampling the Teeling Small Batch Irish whiskey. So we're going back to Ireland.
It's Irish. I thought it was English.
No. Why do you think it was English?
Because it has T in the title. That genuinely, when you mentioned it this week, I thought, is it not TEA?
No,
is it
it's TEE.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
This whiskey is, it's the first one we're trying, which neither of us have tried yet.
If anyone has tried Teeling, please do get in contact and let us know what you think.
Please do. No, anyway. Bye. Anyway, let's get out of here.
And on that note,
I'm getting hot under the collar, Dave. I need to turn that fire off.
Yeah, I think you do.
Yeah.
I think you do.
Marty, don't fly into it. Marty! Tell my story!